Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Kellen here again with Droid Life. Good to be with you once again. And it's a big time of year. Pixel phones, new Pixel phones are official. Google's Pixel 8, Google's Pixel 8 Pro. We've got them in-house. Reviews probably done. You might be reading them right now, but either way, we wanted to still show you on video a little unboxing action and do a little overview. So here we go. This is our Pixel 8, Pixel 8 Pro unboxing with a tour as well. Obviously, lots to cover here, so let's not waste any time. So Pixel 8 over here, pretty clearly Pixel 8. Pixel 8 Pro over here. The two versions I have are Hazel, and this is Porcelain. There's other colors as well. We'll get these out of the box and we'll talk the other ones. As far as the tour goes, you can just see the branding. Pixel 8 Pro, we know what these are. Google logos. On the box, it talks about storage and a couple of specs, which we'll fully dive into later. So anyway, let's start ripping through these. Easy to tear off there. Okay, we always praise Google or any company who gives us easy little tears. We don't like to have to get the knife out very often. All right, so let's do a little shimmy on that. Shimmy on that. Boxes aside. All right, here are the phones. So definitely some differences that you should notice right away. Set those out. The rest of the story here, you know this. No charger in the box. USB-C to USB-C cable. Welcome everyone to the party who is now all in on USB-C. And this is your USB-A to C. This is in case you have an old phone and an old cord with a USB-A you need to transfer from your old phone. Anyway, that's what that's for. And then this is a little start guide probably. That's pretty much it. Where's our SIM tool? I don't have a SIM removal tool anymore. Is it under here? Where's our SIM? It must be embedded in here. SIM removal tool in here, buddy. Google. There it is. Okay, yep, there it is. SIM removal tool is in there. So if you need to pop your SIM out, or unless you're going eSIM, but if you need to pop it out, it is in that little guide. Okay, cleaning up magic. So here we go. Oh, I forgot to take these off. People still do the slow tear on those, or does it kind of lose it when it's not plastic? There you go. Hear that? Okay, so the couple of big differences right off the bat. This is glossy. Look at the reflection. This is matte, no reflection. Very nice, right? So with the Pro, they went with a matte finish this year on the regular 8. Still shiny. So I have played with all of these phones at this point in all colors. So the regular Pixel 8 comes in this hazel color, which is very cool. It also comes in black or obsidian, and then rose, which is kind of like a pinkish color. So the black one, I tried to photograph it. It was borderline impossible because it's so reflective, and the fingerprints that I saw within a few minutes were there. So you are going to get fingerprints. The hazel I may recommend, or even the rose. That black one is going to be sticky pretty soon. As far as the Pro goes, though, these are all matte finishes. So this is porcelain. I also played with the blue, which they're calling bay, and then there's also black or obsidian. The matte black is gorgeous, by the way. It really is a matte black. And the bay is also very, very nice. I wasn't sure about it at first when I first saw it in some pictures, but in person, the blue is this really, really cool blue. It's not like a light blue. It's just sort of this punchy blue. Anyway, it looks great. All of the phones have sort of a matching frame to it. You can see this porcelain one has sort of a goldish tint to it. The blue one also has sort of a bluish tint to it, and then obsidian or the matte black one has kind of a darker charcoal. Same with the Pixel 8. They tried to match up the colors of the frames a little bit. So if you remember the Pixel 7 Pro last year came in hazel, and then they kind of put like a rose goldish coppery color on the frame. They didn't do that this year. So we got hazel with sort of this like gunmetalish that kind of matches it. And then the rose has also like sort of a pinkish tint to it. And then the black one has black. Two other differences though. So while we got matte finish here, this is a polished aluminum frame. And then over here, we've got the polished glossy back with the sort of brushed aluminum frame. I don't know why they didn't keep them consistent there, but it gave us a little bit of contrast. So anyways, those are the three colors of each. What's my favorite? I would say hazel of this one. And then when it comes to the Pro, they're all really nice. Like this porcelain's great. The blue was prettier than expected. And the black, I don't think you can go wrong either way. All right, so let's talk specs and pricing. Let's start with the regular 8. So the regular 8, this starts at $699. That is a $100 increase over last year's phone. Actually, the 6 and 7 were $599. Now they start at $699, and then they go up from there depending on storage. So the base model has 128 gig storage. That's the $699. If you want 256 gig storage, that's $60 more. As far as the Pro goes, also $100 increase. We're now starting at $999. That's for 128 gig. You can jump to 256, 512, and 1 terabyte in some models. Actually, I think it's only the matte black. You can jump to 1 terabyte. But when we jump, we're going up 60, 120, 220. So there are some different jumps in there. But if you want more storage, we're not paying $100 extra for each jump, $60 more in most cases until you go full 1 terabyte. So all of the colors do not have all storage options. You kind of just got to play with configurators to get there, at least for the Pro, because it goes all the way up to 1 terabyte. Now specs. So they're very similar, but this feels like for the first time, well, not for the first time, but more so than ever, Google really went pro on the Pro and limited some stuff over here on the little guy. While I love the size of it, it is missing some stuff like some special camera features. This little weird temperature sensor thing. I don't know, it's missing some stuff. Let's walk through it briefly. Now, as far as displays go, you've got a 6.2 inch full HD. I'm sorry, I'm powering on right now. Over here, we are up to 120 hertz though on the smaller Pixel guy now. So Pixel 8 has 120 hertz. It's a variable refresh rate from 60 up to 120, but it's the first time this version has had 120. Remember, we still had weirdly 90 hertz on the Pixel 7. Now we're up to 120. So that is a pretty decent improvement. Over here, we have a 6.7 inch OLED. They're both OLEDs, by the way. This one's Quad HD, and it is a variable refresh rate from 1 to 120 hertz. They're calling these their Super Well, this is called the Super Actua display, and this is called the Actua display. They haven't really given us a good explanation for what that means, but they should be nicer. And they get really, really, really bright. 2400 nits peak brightness, 2000 nits peak brightness. So we're talking pretty bright. They both have Tensor G3 chips on the inside. So it's the newest Google customized chip. Titan M2 security processors in there as well. 12 gig standard as far as RAM goes on the Pro. And then those 4 storage options of 128, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte. And then over here, we've got 8 gig RAM standard on all models. And then only 128 or 256 gig storage. It's UFS 3.1. I know there's some rumors that they might use UFS 4.0. They did not. As far as batteries go, similar to last year, we've got a 4575 milliamp hour on the little guy, just over 5,000 milliamp hour on this guy. They both do what Google's calling fast charging. I don't know how to call it that fast. The Pro goes up to 30 watt with a proper charger. This one goes up to 27 watt. They both have Qi wireless charging built in. This one goes up to 23 watt over wireless. This one goes up to 18 watt. So there are differences there. You'll notice the cameras, obviously there is a big difference here. So we've got the triple rear camera set up on this guy, and the triple rear is a main 50 megapixel, a 48 megapixel ultra wide, and then a 48 megapixel telephoto. So Google's calling it a fully upgraded camera system. And that 48 megapixel is certainly new. And there's some special features that we'll get to in just a minute with those, but this has the full camera suite. And then obviously combined with this flash and this weird temperature sensor, which we'll talk about in a second. Up front, we have the 10 megapixel selfie camera. This one actually has autofocus on the Pro. It's actually the same selfie camera on the regular guy, but for some reason, not autofocus, fixed focus, same camera, fixed focus. I don't know. They have the same internal components. I don't know why that's a difference. But as far as the back camera goes, same main 50 megapixel as in the Pro. So no downgraded experience there. The wide angle then is only 12 megapixels. So I'm sorry, the ultra wide is only 12 megapixels. So it is a bit of a downgrade there. And then obviously no telephoto and no weird temperature sensor. So that's camera experience. It should be great on both. It's just you're getting more Pro features on the Pro. As far as other specs go, we got Wi-Fi 7 in both, Bluetooth 5.3, NFC. As an added bonus, the Pro once again has a UWB or ultra wideband chip, and that chip is used to, well, not much, mostly to unlock your fancy car if you have one of those cars that has UWB, and I don't really know what else we're using that for. Again, we do have this temperature sensor, so temperature sensor at the moment is only approved to take the temperature of objects. So once it's enabled, you kind of just click this temperature sensor app, and then you put it close to things, click, and it measures the temperature and tells you. And there's different objects you can do. Humans are not one of those yet because they are waiting for FDA approval to take human temperatures. We have IP68 dust and water resistance, aluminum frames on both. But we do have some difference in glass. So Gorilla Glass Victus 2 glass on this guy, front and back. Gorilla Glass Victus on this guy, front and back. So a little bit difference in the hardness, I guess you could say there, but it's still, don't drop them. They are completely glass. We have under display fingerprint readers once again on both phones. We'll see how good they are. USB-C ports on the bottom. Dual SIM, and that means nano physical SIM slots. You can see both of their SIM slots here. And then also eSIM. We have stereo speakers in each. And that is pretty much it for specs. Now we have deeper write-ups of all of this stuff, so I'll try to speed this up a little bit now. But there are some special features that Google's pitching with this, and most of it is AI related because everything is AI related. So we have new camera stuff, right? There is a video boost mode on the Pro only, where if you record a video and the video footage is not super awesome, you can send it off to some unknown cloud server, and in a few hours or a day or so, it'll ping you back and say, hey, we upgraded your video, and it'll boost the video. We also have Magic Editor on both. Magic Editor allows you to take a photo, and if that photo isn't how you wanted it to be, you can actually edit subjects, move them around within it, remove subjects, change the way the sun looks in the sky, and all sorts of stuff. You can basically edit a photo from reality to whatever weird reality you wanted it to be. That should be fun. There's also a thing called Best Take, where take a picture of a group of people, and if no one's smiling or one person isn't smiling and the rest are, you can edit that one person's face who's not smiling to a smiling face, which is, sort of fun. There's also a thing called Audio Magic Eraser. So if you're recording a video and there's obnoxious audio in the background, you can have it play down that audio. And so you really focus on a certain object and their audio. There's also some other AI features like smarter call screening, where you can actually dictate almost what the AI assistant tells the person on the other end, which is fun. You can also have Google Assistant or the AI assistant or whatever we're calling it summarize web pages for you, things like that. So there are some smarts built in here. I will also point out that this camera has a Pro mode because this is the Pro phone. So it has a Pro mode, and for some reason, this camera on the regular 8 does not have a Pro mode. It's a software feature, but only on the Pro. And so, speaking of that, there are a bunch of differences between the two, which I mentioned earlier. So obviously the better camera experience, obviously the temperature sensor, these things are only on this. The UWB chip we mentioned, those are big differences. The Gorilla Glass Victus 2 covering this and that to just make for sort of a more durable phone. There's also just some little things like the matte glass on this one, the up to 1 terabyte storage, more RAM, the higher, or the, I should say the bigger range in the refresh rates, and LTPO display on this. The autofocus. For some reason, this has autofocus when the other one does not. So for the first time in a while, this feels definitely like a big step above this one. And, there is a $300 price difference. So maybe that makes sense. It just used to not feel like it felt like you were getting this one. And the only thing you were really missing was the telephoto lens. Whereas like this year, it feels like you're missing the telephoto lens and a bunch of camera features and sort of a lot. So anyways, finally, we need to talk about software updates. So Google is offering 7 years of software updates for both of these phones. And we're talking security patches, Android versions. So that should be 7 versions of Android after what it ships with out of the box, and 7 years of Pixel feature drops. 7 years is a long time. So the commitment is big, and it's going to be so long before we ever get there. But I guess when we hit some moments like 3 years and 4 years and 5 years, we'll kind of go, okay, this is a big deal. We're still supporting those old Pixel 8s by then. So anyways, again, pricing $699 here, $999. They are $100 price increases over last year's. There are some nice improvements, 120 hertz here, new cameras and stuff over here, new bodies and sort of upgraded designs. I haven't really talked about those, but these rounded designs, we mentioned this before the phones were official, that we were hoping they would just feel great in the hand. They do. I can confirm these rounded corners really do feel nice in the palm when you're holding those. Also, this 8 Pro does have a flat screen. So no more curve over here that was obnoxious that we wish they would get rid of long ago. They finally did it. It is flat. There might be just the slightest little curvish to make it not feel sharp on the edge, but it is a flat display, and it is wonderful in the hand. I know I'm making this case during an unboxing video, but I think the 8 Pro is probably the phone to really lean on this year. Where in years past, I didn't like the curve. I didn't like the way it felt in the hand. It felt too big, all of these things. And I liked the smaller 6 and 7. I think I'm just straight skipping this guy this year, even though it feels amazing in the hand. The size of this thing is awesome. And I say that only because I want all the extra features that come on the Pro, and it just feels really good in the hand. Don't get me wrong, still a big phone, but the flatness, the weight of it, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So anyways, longest unboxing in history, Pixel 8, Pixel 8 Pro. Let us know if you have any comments or questions. We're Droid Life. Peace.